looked at setting a morph target, and we did a little demo on that and got some of the benefits. So we can switch, and if we switch, what we want to do is make sure we set another morph target. If we were going to, if I switch back, if we want to eradicate and remove this completely, we just want to make sure that we switch it back to like the factory reset, as we said, the default state of the mesh, and we delete the morph target and we store another morph target. The reason being is when we use the morph brush, that original modeling will morph back to the other modeling. It's a bit strange, but it's something to bear in mind, that if you have unusual behavior, that's the reason why. But keeping the morph target pristine is kind of the golden rule. And when we come to the morph brush, I'll show you a couple more features. So we're on a standard brush and we want to select the morph brush. Normally what would happen is that you'd have to navigate down to the morph brush here, but alternatively you can press, like, I believe it's F2, and you can press M, and then you can press O, which just gets you there a little faster. That's how you navigate to the morph brush, but let's actually put some modeling on here first. Let's get our scar brush and let's just drag it over the surface and do something a little severe. And let's put another one in here from the lip, and so on. So we've got this very, very extreme example of a scar. And so we now go to and navigate to our morph brush again. And the startup state is that it doesn't have an alpha associated. So the kind of magic thing about this tool is that we can very subtly morph out our modeling and get very, very, very subtle and refined detailing. Now I'm using the mouse here. If I use the Wacom tablet, I would get a similar effect, but the whole point is that think of this as, I think of it as not an erase brush, because it's not like, it doesn't act like the smooth, which just scrubs out the detail. So if this was clay and we think of it as digital clay, it's like getting water and scrubbing the surface and scrubbing away all our detail. What it's doing is it's putting everything back to that initial state, so the poor detail remains. I'll just demo that. So if I use the smooth brush, I get this kind of effect, and you see it's wiping out all the detail around it. If I use the morph brush, it will bring it back and preserve that original fidelity in the modeling. And depending on how many subdivision, this isn't a very high subdivision level, the clarity and fidelity in your modeling will be very extreme. So morph brush allows us to literally morph back, and as I said, I think of it as a sculptural enhancement tool. So let's get back to that state. Let's take the morph brush and let's get a kind of an alpha associated with it. Now, something I like to do is I like to use the morph brush to scrub in a morph. You can get some really refined and beautiful detail in there, you know, and that creates another effect. And every single kind of alpha that's in the kit in our VDMs, these alphas come, you know, they give you very, very different kind of effects. And so, you know, that's more extreme, but you know, I feel that this is a really, really, really advanced modeling tool, the morph brush, and I use it all the time, and I really, really like the effects you can get with it. So that's the morph brush. Used in tandem with a morph target can be very, very effective. So I just want to go to the geometry, and I want to take the geometry down a little bit. So we're having a lot less subdivision levels now. Let's see what happens. Now, the morph brush is actually still working. Yeah. And as we increase the levels, if your system is challenged, you're not on a hugely advanced system, you can use this to sort of work through and use the Morph Brush in this manner. But a caveat to the Morph Brush and to Morph Targets, and something to remember, is now I'm at subdivision level 5. If I divide this mesh again and go to use the Morph Brush, you get this warning. It says it requires a valid morph target, because you've changed the, and it's going to keep doing that, and it's very annoying. So I'm going to press skip note. And so what you've done by increasing the subdivision level is, I think you've changed the vertex order, and the morph target is no longer associated with that layer. But that doesn't mean if I jump down one subdivision level, because the morph target is associated with that layer on 5, the morph target, it'll still work. So you can increase your modeling, you know, to add even extra detail onto a surface. But the thing to remember, a morph target is associated with a subdivision level. And this is also true when we are using something like Dynamesh, which is, this is a tool which allows you to really change the overall. You can really, you could make this into a diplophalic head, you know, you could make this into an alien head, put horns on this character, and you could keep on adding so that this head could have like horns that went out, and you keep on subdividing the mesh. So when we look at the mesh with the subdivision lines in it, it's cut up into all these tiny polygons. So just to, we're not really talking about Dynamesh here, but what we're talking about is morph targets. So we delete, we store a morph target, we take this out. So if you're using Dynamesh, one of the things to remember is that we have, let's use one of our brushes. There's a zombie brush here, really doesn't matter. Just going to load up. It's going to make extra sense. Let's do something that it really is quite severe. Let's do this. Take it out of X, which is symmetry mode, and let's just put this very severe wound for a zombie undead character. Yeah. So we've set a morph target, and we go to the Morph Brush, and we can morph back in Dynamesh, and that's fine. So we're using our vector displacement brushes, and they're working, and we have the I have this, it's quite subtle, so let's just get a more brutal. So let's say that's the one we want. But then what happens is, you know, we have something where the art department says, okay, this is a biomechanical character, let's put this into symmetry. So what we've got is, they go, well, we've got this biomechanical alien character, and, you know, we want this really severe modeling like this, and it's getting to a point where I'm not going to go through the modeling process, but this just keeps on getting bigger and bigger, and there's like huge horns coming out the side of the head, and we go, okay, well, that's what we're happy with, and we're getting to the point where we have to subdivide. I'm going to go into Dynamesh. I'm getting, here we go, Dynamesh. And to activate Dynamesh, we drag down. I've got the control key, and we drag down. Like I said, this isn't a lesson on Dynamesh, but this is just to show you about morph targets, so, and using VDMs. So now we're going, well, this is great, and now I want to use another VDM, and we've got it, and this is it, and we drag it out, and we go, that's great, and we're doing some more modeling, we really like it, and then we go, right, let's get the morph brush ready. We get the morph brush out, and we go, oh, wait a minute, nothing's happened, because when we actually activated Dynamesh to give us extra polygons so we could keep on modeling our horns, we changed the vertex order and we killed the morph target. So anytime you change the vertex order, you must have a new morph target. So that is a constraint of morph targets and the morph brush, just something to be aware of.